Throughout the world, people have bear witness to unexplained paranormal activities and phenomenon led on by tragedies that have taken place there decades prior, providing the fuel to our nightmares and relaying fear in the hearts of people years to follow. These are 10 of the most haunted places in the world today. Number 1. Centralia, Pennsylvania. A small, abandoned town of Centralia, Pennsylvania has become the birthplace of many nightmares throughout the world, as legend of this town's tragedy was depicted in the eerily vivid 2006 motion picture, Silent Hill. The small town had begun burning in 1963 after the residents turned an old strip mine into a dump and set it ablaze. Unknowing to them, the fires soon had followed through an unsealed coal mine and began the tragedy. Fires rage underneath the small town to this day, commonly causing rolling smoke to emit from the ground, splitting concrete and producing sinkholes throughout the town, where visitors and the residents continue to report hearing faint voices and often screams bellowing from below. Number 2. Bangar Fort, Rajasthan, India. Legend has it that in the mid-17th century in Rajasthan, India, lived a princess named Ratnavati, daughter of the ruler Chatur Singh. Tales of her elegance and delightful temperament spread far and wide throughout the land, receiving her many marriage proposals from every corner of the land. All was well till the princess had caught the attention of a tantric priest who has been said to be well versed in black magic. After opposing his request for her hand in marriage, the priest was set to put forth a curse on the town so that no soul that had passed there would make it to the afterlife. Nowadays, the government has issued that no one is allowed on grounds once the sun falls for their own safety. However, you can even receive guided tours through the abandoned monuments before dawn sets and witness for yourself the eerie whispers, faint music, and gut-sinking pressure the town emits. Number 3. The Monte Cristo Homestead, Junee, Australia. This homestead has been considered the most haunted location in the country, as it is home to many horrific deaths and murders since its erection in 1885, from the son of the caretaker being chained up and tortured for over 40 years till his demise, servants and children plummeting to their death to even a 10-year-old boy being burned alive. This location lacks no level of obscenity as the current owners offer day passes to observe some of the spooky phenomenon taking place here, as guests constantly describe feeling an unexplained heat was present, unexplained shoves, faint screams, and chains rattling all throughout the house. Number 4. Kate Blood's Burial Ground, Riverside Cemetery, Appleton, Wisconsin. Rumor and folklore has it that off the grounds of the Riverside Cemetery in Appleton, Wisconsin, lies 4 tombstones that have been fabricated outside the cemetery's usual burial grounds. As what happened to the deceased was so profane, Kate Blood was a mother to one and wed to a George Miller till she succumbed to tuberculosis. Amidst diagnosis, she had traveled to distant family to explain the predicament and farewells, only to return discovering her husband had already eloped with a new mistress. Shortly after her return, their bodies were found in the Miller's house brutally butchered to pieces, including her own daughter. Many reports claim amongst full moon nights to see blood oozing from Kate's engraved name and common occurrences of satanic rituals taking place nearby along the waterside. Number 5. The Edinburgh Castle, Edinburgh, Scotland. The Edinburgh Castle is a stronghold dating back to the birth of the Iron Age, possessing its own long and rich history as the fortified fortress had been used for numerous endeavors throughout its standing, occupying royalty, pirates, prisoners to military garrisons. Scaling Castle Hill leaves your footprints alongside kings, queens, soldiers, and criminals. These looming granite walls have seen the death of many and are said to still carry their lost souls. Currently closed permanently due to a spike in COVID tourism and all the unexplained phenomenon taking place, such as the melodic piping of a long-lost piper rattling of once imprisoned inmates and groaning from ill soldiers and kingsmen. Edinburgh till this day remains the capital of Scotland, unexplained disappearances, and the #1 most haunted castle. Number 6. Tower of London, London, England. Throughout the past 1,000 years, hundreds of executions, murders, and tortures have taken place within the breathtaking walls of the Tower of London, allegedly home to hundreds of ghosts, including Lady Jean Grey, Henry VI, Thomas Becket, and most infamously, Lady Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn's spirit has been seen on many occasions wandering throughout Tower's chapel and upon the Tower Green, carrying her own head in her arms. Anne sightings, amongst reported screams and turning of iron gears and gates that don't exist within the walls, has baffled and disturbed locals and the tourists for centuries. Number 7. The Slang Genocide Museum. Hearing of an average high school located in Cambodia being turned into a torture chamber for mass genocide is enough to send chills down anyone's back. With 14,000 people entering the facility at the time of reckoning and only a staggering 7 people making it out alive, it seems delusional to imagine turning such a place into a museum open to the public. People who visit the museum constantly say you can hear the screams of the men, women, and children that were tortured to death within these walls, as every stable square inch of the interior is covered with before photos of the innocent victims that Cambodia's Communist Party claimed. Number 8. Bucket of Blood Pub, Portland, Oregon. Originally assembled as a gathering place by Polish immigrants to serve the growing community, it soon turned into common ground for a much rougher crowd. The owners then saw another means for profit and began operating a brothel out of the basement, offering adolescent minorities that were rumored to have been kidnapped and forced into sex slavery. As the town industrialized and grew, so did the criminal activity, as fights would constantly break out, having most brawls ending in murder. The owners even attempted hiring a bouncer to safeguard their illegal and partially legitimate business, only to have him mysteriously disappear, never to be seen again. Still currently operated as a bar and a small hotel known as the White Eagle Saloon, guests constantly struggle to get a good night's sleep as they often complain of faint music playing when there should be none, self-slamming doors, and invisible forces holding them down. Number 9. The Restless Mansion, Gardner, Massachusetts. In the late 1800s, a Sylvester Pierce owned a well-renowned furniture company in Gardner, Massachusetts, endowing the city with the nickname of Chair City. Befitting Sylvester's success, he set forth to build himself a modern marvel of the time, paying 100 men to erect his 7,000 square foot house over the course of nearly 2 years. Shortly after completion, a series of unfortunate events struck as his wife lost her life after a long, arduous battle with tuberculosis, with he himself following her to the grave 3 short years after. The Restless Mansion was then endowed to his son, Edward Pierce. Obtaining the property deed amidst the Great Depression, Edwards had to conform and turn the once fabled mansion into a boarding home to make ends meet. Slowly crumbling the mansion's reputation, a guest had constantly gambled and brought prostitutes back to their room. Incidents escalated rapidly in this home as several horrific deaths took place, varying from strangled prostitutes, a boy drowning in the basement, and even a man suffering from so-called spontaneous combustion. Haunting from the angry spirits had tormented Edwards' family so much that they were driven away from their family's prized possession and were soon never heard from again. Number 10. Hellfire Club, Montpelier Hill, Ireland. The Hellfire Club was originally erected in 1725 and has long since been believed to be the first lodge in Ireland for the secret society of Freemasons. Once knowledge of the building's purpose was discovered, it remained abandoned for 5 years, till a few Dublin elites, later known as the Hellfire Club, had actively made it their sacrilegious stomping ground for debauchery and devil worship. Local lore depicts this abandoned temple as the cult's gathering place for practicing dark magic and common sacrifices, till it incidentally burned down amidst the gathering. Throughout the decades, the locals have reported hearing cries from the lost souls that were sacrificed there. along with seeing unexplained demon-like creatures, transforming cats, and men in black robes walking on hooven feet. No local dares adventure to the damned location, majority of them believing it to be the most haunted place in the world, as they are actively preventing visitors from wandering through to avoid accidentally releasing the evil spirits from their stronghold.
Wow! Did you catch that? Make sure to click subscribe and turn on your notifications so you can catch our next week's piece of exciting activities happening around the world. Hidden news, massive current events, and fun to know facts that will expand your thinking and surprise you.